W-A-G-E-W, we're all gonna eat well. Hey, W-A-G-E-W, we're all gonna eat well. I don't spin slots, I spin ref coins. I need real biz, no farm points. When cuts go brr, that's my cue. Solana in seconds, that's just true. 1K OG seats, that's by design. No season 2, you just have one time. This isn't token casino roulette. This is margin on products you get. You want tails, go cope, you want CT and leave it. I want real business, big bands, I mean it. We're fish on a T to a unicorn stance. From the launch day to $1 billion advance. We don't beg for a pump, we build for a run, that's true. If YB was hope, wage you is food. Paid when the cuts go brrr. Who keeps faith when the seas get stirred? What's the code? We always yell. Where'd you? We're all gonna eat well. No more, catch that wave. Consumer free dipping every lane. Cargo ding and the split hits main. Solana and abstract on the frame. No more, ring that bell. Stack that spread, we print that sale. Hands up friends, feel that swell. Where'd you? We're all gonna eat. With size, ooh, the floor stays tight, no lies. Ooh, it's not hope, you miss flow. Ooh, no more rules, sit on chain, go. Bro said send it, I said I did. No mean run, just product led bid. No cheap shills, no airdrops in the routine. Rev coins, meta, you know what I mean. When cuts go, you'll see the tail. Num GMs when the product sell. Don't be poor man, let bags not blind. If you chase token casinos, you in the gym of mind. From a fish in the sea to a unicorn brand. Quarter on quarter, let the figures land. Partner is community cut in the fam. No sex, no MM, we scrap that scam. From GM to GN, I'm bass not loud. Solid profits with or without a crowd. If what means hope, wait, you is real. Revenue splits when the tails go drill. Moon isn't locked, moon is math. Inventory right and a repeat path. Cash my backs, buy back some flow. OG seats wide to the goods we grow. No more, catch that wave. Consumer fee dripping every lane. Cargo ding and the split hits main. Solana and the abstract on the frame. No more, ring that bell. Stack that spread, we print that sale. Hands up friends, feel that swell. Where you were all gonna eat well.
I'm thinking muted. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. We are live. We are together. It is my pleasure to be with you for the next half an hour or so. Thank you so much. Everybody's tuning in. Today's a big one because we're going to go through everything that happened since we last talked, which essentially is TGE, among other things. So hello to everybody. First of all, we got, of course, analyst Joseph in the house. We have got Steve. C'est let's fucking go. Le Sicilien, of course. Clément Roll, la team. French community present as well. Vivianos de la Mancha, as always, here. Pierre, salute you. Wagyu to you, Simon. Samson Palomik, GM, everyone. Jim to you. Alpha Codex as well. We've got Danny who got frazzled. Got to build some resilience, man. This is the normal sounds. If you get scared about them, that's the sound of Wagyu. Samson, hello. Sanders says hello. Kicks in the house. Who else have we got? Cyber Brother in the house. Of course, Theo, who's ready to go. I am ready to go as well. Many more people. Ola from Guillaume. Salut as well. Chris from Zurich. Hello, everybody. Cool. Last time we spoke, guys, it was pre-TG. Today, we are in a token that has accumulated close to $3 million of market volume. We are right now sitting at $7 million of market cap. That is roughly a 4-point-something X from TGE in less than 2 weeks. We have since reached the all-time high was at 11 and short. It's been a heck of a time. We've got close to 2,000 unique holders in Nomo. We are doing volumes of market caps that are right now 6 to 7 times higher than ours. Just a comparison. Volume is a very good indicator of appetite and health of a token because the volume is direct corollary of price. If there would be no buying pressure, there would be no volume. The volume would die very quickly without buying pressure, right? So that's a very healthy indicator. We roughly have 2 to 3 times more organic holders than tokens that are 5 to 6 times bigger now. So really, we're fundamentally setting ourselves up in the best possible way to launch this. And I have very exciting news for you today, because not only are we going to speak about TGE breakdown, I'm going to tell you everything that happened. I'm going to teach you as well how to analyze the token, how to learn more about yourself on chain, how to do this kind of stuff. We're also going to speak, of course, about staking. But we're also going to give out live the winners of the trading contest. And lastly, I'm going to announce to you the launch date of Nomo, the platform. All of this today in the next couple of minutes. So without further ado, I would say let's go. We're going to go over here where I share my screen. Right now, you can just see my Twitter, but that is not very important. We are going to instead go to Jupiter, which are dear friends of ours. And if you haven't seen my girlfriend, Linny, who works for Jupiter, she has spoken very greatly of Nomo yesterday to the whole Jupiter community. And if any of the Jupiter team is watching us right now, I salute you guys as well. And welcome to the Open Kitchen. So what you got to do when you're on Jupiter is go on Pro. That's where all the analytics are. There's different ways of doing it. You can go on SoulScan. You can go directly on Explorers. But I think this is a much better UX, much better than Dex Screener for sure. And here you can see a bunch of things that are very interesting. So right now you can see the market is in the shitter. We have ourselves suffered a lot from this. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can see what happens so that you are also informed. And I just tweeted about it to make sure that everybody is on the know. But I'm going to show you right now how you yourself can be a little bit detective and understand what's happening. So right now you can see that our market cap and FTV are roughly $7 million. On chain, we've got 435 holders, which is great because we've been increasing holder count day by day. This is a very important metric here. You want to keep seeing this improve with time. It won't be a straight line, of course. The days will be less and more. But even the fact that today we increase holder count while the market goes down collectively, it's an amazing sign. So why has Nomo currently dumped? Let's quickly have a look. And what you'll see very quickly is that it is, as always, just a few wallets that have done this. So right now, what we're going to do to make this quicker, because here you can see all the transactions. What this is a follow-up of every single transaction that has happened on the Nomo token. And Jupiter accumulates all of them, which is fantastic. So you can see it all. And this is more interesting here. So we filter by bigger volume. So let's say at least $500 worth of transactions. And here you can see that 2 hours ago, this wallet right here, if you're interested in what this wallet is, this is the Swissbook hot wallet. You can, if you want to go deep into this, we can go onto SoulScan, type in this wallet here. And you will see that it is a wallet that has enormous amounts of activity. If we go into the portfolio, it has everything and nothing. And this is essentially a hot wallet that Swissbook uses to trade a bit of everything and nothing. So that's currently what we've seen here. So if we go back on Jupiter, what we can see is that 2 hours ago, there was a cascading effect of very big orders. In total, 1,007, 32, 46, close to 7K was sold in one go, which obviously 7K might not sound that much, but for $7 million market cap, that's a significant portion of liquidity, especially if you do it in one go, because there's no volume, counter volume buying pressure to counteract it, especially when the market goes down. You just aggravate things for yourself. So I'm not a great trader, but I can tell you one thing. If you want to sell, effectively don't sell at size whilst the market goes down, because you're gonna have a worse exit position than if you would have just done it calmly, especially when there's low volume, which today is lower volume than usually, because we've hit $100,000 volumes in previous days. Cool. So this is an amazing tool for you guys to learn a bit more about Nomo. I scan this probably 3-4 times a day to understand what's happening, especially when big price movements happen. We also internally have a very good understanding of who all the private wallets are. So here, for instance, is a private wallet. You can see the holdings. You can already detect that it's probably a Borg user, Swissbook user of some sorts. We see some old deals from Borgpad as well. And we have a very good correlation of who that might be internally. But alone yourself, this being the blockchain, if you guys come from Swissbook and haven't really explored yet the whole on-chain world, let Nomo be a vehicle for you to learn more about this. And so if every now and then in this open kitchen, so I can just show you a little bit how to do things, that's a great way for you to keep learning as well and keep progressing on your journey. Great. Now, that's what's happening right now. Market's awful. Market will come back. We are planning our buybacks, which I'm going to tell you about in a couple minutes. Let us go back to what happened from TGE, which was exactly now about 2 weeks ago. Exactly 2 weeks ago, in fact. I think day for day or like 15 days ago. We were all sat here in this very room where I'm sat right now, which is our office in where I grew up in Spain. And it was incredible experience. So I've accompanied about 30 projects in their TGE from Swissbook to Bulkpad. This was the first time that I TG'd for myself, and I can tell you the experience is very, very different. The first thing that was different is that we had a very specific setup on how to TG. And big shout out to the Bulkpad team, Matisse Ewan, who you guys know have helped tremendously with it, because we launched with, if I remember correctly, 6 different pools at a $1.5 million market cap, which is pretty ridiculous. Because no one TGs with 6 pools at 1.5 million market cap. But between the ambassadors, between our DLLMs, our DMMs, which DLLMs are small pools according to price, DMMs are the classic liquidity pools that you guys know very well. It was just a huge ordeal to deploy all of this. And in fact, when we TG'd, some of these pools did not launch in real time. So we had slight delays. We were very stressed for a couple of minutes. There was like a true war room situation here. We had Anthony from Swissbook, the co-founder, on us on the call as well. He was a humongous amount of help in that specific moment. And all in all, it worked out great. We were able to deploy all the pools in time, collect sufficient capital as well to pay out the ambassadors, because we crossed the $6 million market cap straight away. We did like $2 million of volume on day one, which is incredible. Again, for the $1.5 million market cap, is like you do more volume on day one than the initial market cap, which is unheard of. Usually it's at least 1 or even 2 orders of magnitude less. So anyways, just very, very positive signals throughout. And then we could just keep monitoring over the next few days what happened. What we saw is a few of the early hands of Swissbook, a few of, not like Swissbook team, but Swissbook users, including some of the ambassadors who did sell big piles of their pie. It is expected. It's always been like this for every single launch. You know, believers stay, and the ones that just wanted to come for the trades, we tried to filter out as good as possible. It still happened nonetheless. It did fundamentally confirm one thing, though, that our approach to go to Swissbook, to go to Bulkpad, do maximum $70 tickets, and raise the amount that we had to raise for the liquidity, which was roughly 75K, proved hugely successful. Because that $70 ticket at $11 million market cap became roughly $500 ticket. And so if we did it like any other project that came and just tried to maximize for quick sellout, because that's the thing that sells, like every single launch pad in the history has always told you, oh, we sold out in 7 seconds or something like this. It really doesn't matter. What we did is collect 1,200 individual wallets that collectively invested 75K with no one that has invested more than $70. And that allows us now to, even though we had that flush and that initial selling pressure, to still be right now at a 4 to 5x, despite the market, since we launched, be almost in continuous downtrend ever since. So we're in an extremely privileged position. I'm extremely bullish. And the best thing is that we haven't even announced everything that's coming. So from a tokens perspective, today was a rough day. You can see for yourself what happened. But it would be the worst possible timing, because we are just about to do our first buybacks. So let me talk about the buybacks. Then I'm going to share my screen again. And before I talk about buybacks, I need to talk about staking. Staking. Let me quickly share my screen again. Where am I? I need to go back on Twitter. So as you guys know, since about a week, we have talked a lot about real staking at Nomu. And why have we talked a lot about staking at the moment? Because most staking mechanisms in Web3 are awful, just generally awful. So quick history on staking. Staking was originally created to secure proof of staking. So you had proof of work blockchains like Bitcoin and Zcash. You have proof of stake blockchains like Ethereum and Solana. Stake is an economic incentive to say, I'm going to deploy my capital to secure the network with that capital, with my compute, but hedged and secured with my stake, meaning that if I do something malicious, that stake is taken away. And if I act positively, secure the consensus of the network accurately, then I get rewarded. It's a great economic incentive to make things happen. What has happened since is that every single project that is not a layer 1 protocol and that does not need staking for security reasons thought, wait a minute, staking is a great way for me to postpone selling pressure today, and I'm going to do that by giving them more tokens over time so that selling pressure will become bigger tomorrow. And as soon as you pointed out this way, you immediately recognize the idiosyncrasy of this whole mechanism. You're essentially saying, please don't sell today. Let me give you more tokens for that. The more you don't sell, the more tokens I give you, so that eventually you can sell more in the future. And that leads to only two possible outcomes. Either that person that wanted to sell to begin with will end up selling more than it originally had, because you start giving it incentive rewards that are coming out of treasury rather than out of anything sustainable. And so the downwards pressure will be much, much bigger. Or that person would have never had a chance to sell because the token would have gone to zero before, and you just either way created a very unfair and unrewarding mechanism for the project and for the user. So we thought we don't want to continue this. Nonetheless, staking is a great way to reward the most loyal community members and give them a rewards back. So first of all, we had to find a way of finding a better staking mechanism and a better source of the yield. Because as you know, the key learning from 2021, from Celsius, FTX, and the whole era is, if you don't know where the yield comes from, you most likely are the yield. And in most cases, at that time, the yield came from treasury. And so they were just telling you 20% APY here, and it was very unsustainable, and it was just a way to farm you, if anything, to use you as exit liquidity and your liquidity. It was just awful through and through. So we decided we're going to do things properly, and we have decided last week to allocate 10% of all our trading fees on Nomu to issue them as staking rewards. So what happens is we take the fees that have been generated from trading, we use those to buy back Nomu on the secondary market, which means upside pressure for every single token holder, and then distribute that to the stakers of Nomu. That also means that the way it works with S-Nomu is a liquid representation of that stake, meaning that you stake your Nomu, you get staked Nomu in return, which is this signal here. And all the Nomus that we buy back and we redistribute to stakers, they don't come directly into your wallet. They go into an S-Nomu vault. And that S-Nomu vault essentially keeps accumulating more and more Nomus. So that if, let's say, at the end of the year, the APY, the yield would have been 10%, and the vault had, at the beginning of the year, 1,000 Nomus in there, at the end of the year, it would have 1,100 Nomus. And so you would be able to withdraw your proportional stake with 10% more, because there's 10% more Nomus behind that. And that's what you see essentially would be an amazing mechanism to have a staked Nomu increase in value, have with the same price discovery as the underlying asset, but increase in value proportionally more as the staking rewards keep accumulating. That's the vision that we want to create for that. And there's a few premises that we need for it. One being very critically that the Nomu, the staking asset, has liquidity limitations. Because if the staked Nomu becomes as liquid as the underlying Nomu, then essentially we have two cannibalizing assets where Nomu, the main token, is now only second best to Nomu, the stake token. And so people would just directly buy Nomu, the stake token. It would be very confusing for any newcomer to see both tokens, which one should I buy? And in front of the choice, you might paralyze and not buy anything. So we want to make sure that Nomu, the main asset, remains the star. And only for our core community members, the most loyal users, we unlock the possibility to earn extra reward in the form of stake Nomu. Because the only additional risk of stake Nomu really is the counterparty risk, which in this case would have been Kairos and Jido. Now, we have a big update today, and we might not going to like it too much, because I unfortunately have to announce that we're not going to release staking right now today. I know, very sad. But the main reason for that is principally because right now we tried like crazy for the last week, and we thought there was a way of doing it, but at the end, the Jido infrastructure doesn't allow us to do it. We were not able to make sure that Nomu, the upside token, would have restrained liquidity. Because once it's a tradable asset that everybody can just buy and sell, nothing stops anybody from just coming up with their own Nomu, creating a Nomu, S-Nomu pool, and then having a very thin liquidity pool between Nomu and S-Nomu. That is the worst case scenario, because then someone who doesn't know just wants to buy S-Nomu, the liquidity pool is very thin, and the slippage would have been huge. You could lose the majority, of depending on the size you trade with, the majority of your, or even almost all the money that you trade in, meaning that you could, for instance, if the pool is very thin and only has like a few $100s in it, and you want to come in with $10,000 of Nomu and exchange it for, or dollars and exchange it for S-Nomu, the slippage between Nomu and S-Nomu might be so big that you might end up with $100 worth of S-Nomu rather than $1,000 that you began with. Meaning that essentially would unwittingly rug people wanting to buy S-Nomu, which means that we would have to deploy liquidity ourselves. And that means that then S-Nomu would be as liquid as Nomu. And then we find ourselves in this unfortunate scenario where S-Nomu just becomes the main asset. And the issue is that we don't control S-Nomu fully because it is still the counterparty risk of Jito and Kairos included. So right now what we're doing is finding a solution where essentially S-Nomu will become a liquid staking token that is non-transferable, meaning that you can stake it on our website. You can stake Nomu, receive S-Nomu back. It shows in your wallet, but you cannot send it to anybody else. And in that way, we control liquidity. And that means we can also gate the access to only people that have been with us for a certain amount of time, or we can gamify the experience much, much better. That unfortunately requires custom code that we thought we didn't have to do, but at the end need to do. And for that, we need to put our engineering resources to it. We're also talking to different partners that might be able to help us do this quicker. But this is the update for today. In fact, we just posted a tweet about it right this second. So let's quickly go have a look at that on Twitter. If I go back on Nomu, here we go. So that's the update that I just mentioned. We decided to postpone the staking rollout for S-Nomu because the infrastructure currently is not supported. But the very good news, ladies and gentlemen, is that nonetheless, we are upholding, of course, our commitment of buying back Nomu with what would have been the staking rewards of this week. Meaning that this week, we are in total buying back 20% of all the fees generated by the Nomu token. 10% for this and 10% for the trading competition that I'm going to speak about in 1 second. This has not happened yet. So anybody who sold the last couple of 2 hours ago, very bad moment of doing it because you could have sold on our liquidity when we were about to buy back the token. So tough luck for you. But that's the very good news. And in fact, that means that de facto, every single token holder still now perceives this as yield indirectly because you are receiving that as buying pressure onto the token, which is a non-negligible amount given the thin liquidity right now and the low volume that we see across the markets. I need to look at exact numbers, but it's going to be a few $1,000s in one go, and it should do. I mean, we might not do it in one go, to be honest, but it will be non-trivial amounts that might move the needle in some way, depending on how we execute on it. So that's a very good news. I hope everybody can understand. And of course, at the end, Q&A. Let me know if there's any questions of why. And was I not sharing my screen this whole time? If I wasn't sharing my screen, go on Twitter. Let me share it right now. I wasn't sharing my screen. All right, I'm awfully sorry for that. I was looking at something the whole time. But instead, you got to see my beautiful face. If you go on Twitter right now, you can see the tweet. Right, let me try and get my screen up here because that's actually kind of important. Let me just add a quick scene here. Media. I'm going to share my screen. There we go. Okay, sorry for that if you guys didn't see it. But this is the tweet we just released. And so essentially what we want to go back towards, which now need to build ourselves. And it does take time because we are truly creating a new primitive here, which no one has done yet in Web3. I haven't seen it. Like it's part of identity by now. We try and push the limits just because there's so much nonsense in Web3. People don't stop to think all too long for all too much. And there's so much asymmetry to the upside by just taking a bit more time doing things properly. The same thing we'll see with our e-commerce platform, which I'm going to announce the launch date, the provisional launch date today. But here, even this mechanism currently does not exist. And it exists for layer 1 blockchains like Solana. You can stake your Solana and receive staked SOL like JupeSol, like Infinity from Sanctum, even, of course, KaiSol from Kairos. But at the individual protocol or app level, this doesn't exist yet. And what excites me the most about this is that through this mechanism, we could essentially emulate what TradFi already does with common shares and preferred shares, or common stock and preferred stock. If you guys know what the difference is between those, the common stock is, of course, the one that everybody knows since dawn of time. It's what is, if I buy Apple stock, I will buy common stock. Preferred stock usually have bigger yield if dividends are paid out. It's usually much bigger dividends. And the price discovery mechanism might be a bit different as well between those assets. You usually end up paying a premium for the preferred shares because they have more yield to them. And they also have additional benefits where, for instance, if the company would have to go into liquidation at one point, the preferred shares get payout before, every single preferred share gets payout before the common shares get paid out. I'm not saying that this is exactly what we need to do in crypto or in Web3. There's some limitations to what TradFi does as well. But the idea of having two sets of assets, of common stocks or common tokens and preferred tokens for the most loyal community members, to give them an additional advantage for being there since day one and helping us and continuing to provide value, just makes a lot of sense. And there's a lot of incredible things we can do with that. We can gamify it. You can find ways of getting access to this preferred stock and keep adding additional liquid benefits into this preferred token. So I really see this as being a brand new narrative for Web3. There's Kairos, the team sees it the same way. And we now just need to find a way of actually implementing this. And unfortunately, there's more in-house development work required than we originally thought, and hence the delay on this currently. But we will explore with different partners, including Sanctum, including Citadel, which are friends of ours as well, to make this happen. Long story short, Stake No More is coming. Until then, you're still going to see the benefits of it via the buybacks happening starting tomorrow. And eventually, this means that once Stake No More is live, you will have an asymmetric play for staking your Nomo, which has the same price discovery as the underlying Nomo, but with additional compounding yield onto it. All right. I hope all of this makes sense. That was a whole section about yield. Now, let me do something very, very exciting, which is I'm going to share a different screen here. And what you see here, let me just check that you actually see it. You can actually see it, is our trading competition. And right now with you live, I'm going to draw the winners of this trading competition. So let me see if I can get some W's in the chat for who you think is going to win this. Maybe if you manifest it, your name will come out live. We're going to do this live right now. It's only going to happen one. That you will be able to verify this hash. It's online. It's on chain. So give us a few W's. See who's gonna think they're gonna win. I'm just gonna answer the questions in the middle. Crypto Kings has got a lot of communication. It's on point and more importantly, open and honest. Yes, that's what we aim to do. It means that things don't go up in a straight way. Like sometimes, as any other thing in life, there's kickbacks, there's curves that you need to navigate around, hoops you need to jump through. But as I strongly believe that as long as you do things for the right reason, with the right heart, it ends up going the right way. And so I'd much rather wait a little bit longer to do this properly than to sacrifice the long-term viability of Nomo, the asset itself, because we wanted to rush a staking reward mechanism that at the end of the day is not sustainable. And the truth is, the rate is right now, it is not sustainable. And I think there's a true opportunity to lead the way with this and be an example for everybody else in the industry of how to actually do staking, because no one does it properly today. It's really, really incredible. Same way that no one actually does e-commerce properly, where you can share the upside of the products you buy. It's so logical. You provide so much value. Without you, the product couldn't exist. It's normal that you get incentivized to help the product succeed. These are the asymmetries that we're after, and that's what makes us, I think, successful in the long term. Okay, here we go. We've got every W's in the chat. Waggy for Vivianos. I wish I could have some drum roll here. Chris B says W as well. We've got all the W's in the chat. King Poseidon, of course. Okay, let's do this. Who's ready? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1 now. And the winners are, if you recognize your wallet here, you are the winner. You won this wallet here. Go check if it's your wallet. We're going to take a screenshot of this as well to make sure everybody has it. And if not, I'll show you the hash and you can verify it for yourself. You won the OG NFT. The top trading fee price goes to this low wallet here. And then we got 2% here to this wallet. We have got, and a 1% winners are these wallets here. Go check if this is your wallet. If your wallet, you will receive an airdrop from us in the coming few days. And congratulations to everybody who won it. Very glad with this. The trading competition was a huge success. And we're most likely going to do another one as well. It's just essentially it's a way of staking as well. You just keep accumulating. It's an incentivized way of DCAing into the token, which is amazing. It's gamified, and I even think we're going to try and raise the reward somewhat if we manage to get across $100,000 volume on any specific 24-hour period. So stay tuned for that. Much more things are going to come. Yeah, everybody screenshotted their wallets? Great. Then in this case, the only thing that's left to do right now is, before we go into Q&A, for that I'm going to come back here, big on the screen, is to tell you what's next. What's next for Nomo the asset? What's next for Nomo the actual platform? So for Nomo the asset, we are going to do continuous efforts to maintain volume, to keep increasing our holder count, and of course staking. The key thing is get the flywheel going of the reflexive commerce, because as soon as we start doing drops, people start buying products and they end up having Nomo tokens in their wallet, which is just an amazing way of distributing token, because we buy back those tokens. So there's a revenue share, from the actual product happening. We pull that into a rewards pool. We then do buybacks of the token, which means buying pressure for the token, and then distribute the correct amount to the right people who help the product succeed. So people that come from all these different launch partners that are not Nomo are going to come in, they're going to buy their products and going to end up Nomo tokens. And they're going to see the Nomo tokens and understand, wait, this is my reward. And some people will sell, and that will mean at worst delta neutral on the price. That's fine. And some people will keep and will get more interested in the token, in the project. It's like, whoa, I just bought something and I actually understood what it is. Like, it happened. I bought it and I got a reward. Incredible. And so once that starts happening, a lot of the volume comes through our own marketplace. And every single time we start a product, a new token holders will come in and will grow the pie for everybody. So just as a design mechanism, this is really the coup de grace of the whole backbone of the Nomo ecosystem for our first go-to-market period. We are already thinking what we're going to do after that, because we have a bunch of launches lined up. But at the beginning, I can tell you right now, this is the alphabet. We will launch Nomo at Breakpoint, during Solana Breakpoint at Abu Dhabi, at one of the biggest side events hosted by that project. So their side event, which is one of the biggest ones at the entire conference. For those who don't know what Breakpoint is the biggest conference on Solana every single year. It is happening this year, December 11th to December 13th at Abu Dhabi. And in one of those biggest side events, that partner is going to launch with us on a big stage. And we're going to have the whole community of that partner project live with us there. And in the meanwhile, we of course going to have amazing communication going forward with that. And it's going to be, well, we're setting it up to become a huge bang. I'm going to call it, instead of like saying it, I'm going to call this manifestation. Because right now we are projecting numbers. And the truth is, we don't know. We don't know if this is going to be a huge success or if this is going to be just, first test and we need to keep working on it because the model is not right. There's a chance of this. I'm not going to lie. No, you don't always get things right the first time. We are doing this very meticulously, so I think we're on the right path. But currently on projections, we think we can reach north of $2 million on the first sale of gross volume on the merchandise, which would make it the biggest sale ever of real-world assets in crypto, full stop. As in, it is the biggest sale that ever happened on a real-world asset like a specific good in Web3, Solana, non-Solana compounded. That's the aim. We have very good ways of achieving that. It might seem huge and the partner is big, but $2 million of volume on any single sale is more than big brands do on their launches. We're being very clever about how we're going to do that. And I can't wait to tell you more about this in the future. Essentially, from now on, every single next Open Kitchen is going to be launch focused. I'm guessing we're going to have at least one or two before the big launch. And through that, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the actual mechanics, how it's going to work. And this is now go time. The asset side is done. We're going to take care of the token holders. We're going to take care of the OG NFTs and create sales from our own Nomo brand as well. But we first need to validate the concept and need to show to the world that, wait a minute, Kickstarter was flawed. What people actually want is skin in the game of the products they buy, because that's actually what the crowdfunding spirit is all about. Is not just receiving a thank you t-shirt. I've got my beautiful Nomo t-shirt here, but it's actually getting skin in the game and helping entrepreneurs succeed, but you want to be able to succeed with them. And if we can democratize that, first across the biggest IPs on Solana, then beyond Solana, and then beyond Web3, over the next 6 months, everything else will fall into place after that. So that's the current roadmap. It is happening at breakpoints, most likely on the 13th of December. I'm saying most likely because there might still be some changes, but it is happening at breakpoint, and I can't wait to do it with you guys as well. So it is exactly 1 month from now. We are prepping all the back end, all the UI, the UX on the front side. We are prepping the communications plan, getting more partners on board to do huge co-marketing. The product looks incredible. It's very, very sexy product. Tidiana, lead designer, is doing an incredible job on it. Both the interface as well as the actual product that you're going to be able to get. The whole storytelling about it is really coming together. And if we manage to do $2 million of GMV, that is the biggest sale ever happened on a consumer good in Web3. And we are a $7 million market cap doing a $2 million GMV on its first sale. That's the goal. Let's see if we get there. But that's what I'm manifesting right now for us. The current record is $1.7 million for Moonburbs and Collector Crypt. And Collector Crypt, at the moment when they did that, they shot up to $600 million FDV. I'm not saying we're going to go from $7 million to $600 million FDV. It's not what I'm saying. NFA, there's no financial advice. But I'm just highlighting there's an asymmetry. And if we manage to execute like we want and like we can, this asymmetry will be realized by the wider public. And I'm betting my horses that it will be closed. So everything is yet to be done, and I can't be more excited to be able to do with you guys. At this point, I would say, because I've been blabbing about for the last 36 minutes, is there any questions, AMA, about the yield, about the product, about Nomu, the token itself, anything else about life that you wanted to ask me? This is the moment to do it. We're going to take a couple minutes to do an AMA like always. Chris says, where is my Nomu t-shirt? That is a very good point. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this because Theo might kill me for this, but we are trying to organize the first Nomu meetups in France, Switzerland, UK, where we will give merch out, of course, for the community members that decide to show up and support us. I'll try and be there myself. If not, Theo will be there or another team member will be there. So this will happen as well in the coming weeks if all goes according to plan. And it's critically important that we form a real life community where we all meet each other, get to look each other in the eyes and speak about anything and everything in life. So I can't wait to do that. And at that point, you can have for sure a t-shirt as well. Chris also asked when staking. Well, that's the big question. I don't want to give you a specific date about that because it could happen very quickly. And there's also iterations that we can do that until we get SNOMU fully sorted out. There's different ways we can do this. In a way, staking-ish for everybody is happening right now through the buybacks in a way already. We could adopt a model like XBG very quickly, where it's just pledging, and that might happen super, super quickly. And if not, if we can unlock with a partnership SNOMU quicker as well, then it might just be literally 1 or 2 weeks. It could be longer. I just, right now at this point, I don't want to give you false information. I'd rather over-deliver, under-promise than the other way around. Do I have to be a buyer of Nomu product to benefit from the sales, or can I just be Nomu token holder and NFT holder? Well, that's the beauty of it. In any sale, so the question is, yes, you can just be a holder. In every single sale, there's two personas that we manage to reward directly, indirectly. We reward directly people that buy the product. If you buy the product and you refer, you help it succeed, you will get a direct airdrop back to your wallet, depending on how well the product has done and your commitment, your involvement in the product success. So the more you help, the more the success, the more you get airdrop back. That's a direct reward. But because we buy back every single token we airdrop, and we don't even airdrop everything we buy back, and not everybody will sell, you as a token holder who passively watches a sale happen because let's say you're not interested by this specific product, which is obviously fair enough, and that will happen. Or let's say it's a sushi collaboration in Switzerland and you live in Canada, you're not going to buy sushi in Switzerland if you live in Ontario. Then as a token holder, this buying pressure is directly represented for you indirectly as a reward in buying pressure, because we might buy back hundreds of thousands of dollars of this token on a continuous basis if we manage to do the numbers we imagine we can do. And so there's a continuous buying pressure like Hyperliquid, but through e-commerce. And it doesn't come from treasury, which is amazing, because most buyback mechanisms today, this is another thing we can talk about in the future, but it's another thing that's completely wrong in this industry. Buybacks today are unsustainable across the board. I can tell you this directly. At the next bear market, whenever it is, hopefully not soon, 90% of companies will stop doing buybacks very quickly because they essentially are sacrificing their treasury. They say, like, I'm not going to take revenue for myself and I'm going to do it for buyback. It's a very inefficient capital allocation. as a company. It's like saying I'm a startup and I'm going to start doing buybacks and dividend payouts. It makes no sense. So instead, Nomu is not in that position because we actually don't do the buybacks from our treasury. We don't use our revenue to do buybacks. We use the sales of the products himself, which are essentially paid by the company that is selling the products to Nomu. And so it's a slice of the margin of the product rather than of the revenue of Nomu directly that's used for buybacks. So whether it's a bull market, whether it is a bear market, it doesn't matter. Buybacks on Nomu will continue happening. And that alone is a fundamental design difference that I think most people haven't even realized yet, how sustainable the buyback mechanism for Nomu is compared to anything else out there. Because even Hyperliquid, in the middle of the bear market, when they have a tenth of the volume that they have right now, cannot sustain 97% of buybacks forever. And they can do it until the treasury runs out. And they might be the exception because they only have 9 people on the team. So they have like a runway forever. But most teams will not be able to do that. Any news about Alliance? Very good question. As of right now, they said they would reach out to us within the first 2 weeks. It is right now exactly 1 week. We have not heard from Alliance yet. So we're expecting a message over the next 7 days. And I will tell you when it happens. We did have a call with Colosseum already. So Colosseum reached out after day 1 or 2. I forget. Like straight away they reached out. They do 15-minute conversations with all the projects. Ours lasted 35 minutes, which is a very bullish indicator. And we talked about everything. They agreed with how we launched the token. They love the product. So very good feeling with Colosseum. Alliance, I really have a good feeling. The application was really, really solid. We've got help from Alliance internally as well. Some of the people there, we've been recommended by different people. We've been referred to different people. I just think it takes 2 weeks for them to reach out to you on average. So fingers crossed, I'll let you know if they reach out. And so far, Colosseum, yes. It's 1 for 2. Colosseum, yes. Alliance, not yet. I just need to know more merch. Yes, indeed. Exactly. Xbox seems to be doing that where, well, I know you refer to here Satoshi, whether it's the staking or whether it's the buybacks. The staking Xbox does really well, and we might adopt a similar model very quickly on that. How will the OG NFT holders get rewarded? Will they also receive Nomu? So, Steve, you got to remember the OG NFTs, there's different value proposition. OG's NFTs get actually perpetual rewards for everything directly, as in you directly get an airdrop into your wallet for Nomu branded products. So essentially the core promise of the OG NFT is saying for all the other projects out there with all the other partners, we have partners that need to get a piece of the cake, right? It's their products, their IP. So they actually get the majority. But for Nomu products, so whether it's as silly as our merch, but also premium subscriptions, whether it's hardware devices that we bring out, we will spin out a whole product team that does Nomu products as a brand, as an IP. There, we don't have a counterparty. It is only Nomu. So instead of having a partner project getting the majority of the pie, we say our own community is a partner for Nomu products, which is the way it should be, I think, because you guys make this happen. If not, there wouldn't be a Nomu. So essentially, as an OG NFT holder, every single time a Nomu product gets sold, Nomu branded, you get a direct reward into your wallet as a consequence. And so it's Nomu tokens as well. So it benefits you twice. It benefits you because price goes up and you directly get some Nomu tokens. Sanagas, you got to sell and buy back on chain, unfortunately. I imagine that's for Swissborg. Yes, you have. The reason for that is actually I messaged a couple of days ago that CoinGecko is now listed on CoinGecko. Swissborg also needs CoinMarketCap, and CoinMarketCap are a nightmare to get listed on. First of all, they want $5,000 to get listed on CoinMarketCap just to, and they don't guarantee that you're going to get it, which we're not going to spend because it's ridiculous, and no one uses CoinMarketCap anyway. It's just Swissborg uses some of their APIs for validation. I think it's a legal matter. And so we did the application. It took me, honestly, like 6 hours to do it because you have to do Excel sheet tables with your top holders, identify them. It's an endless process. And we haven't heard back from them yet. I did that 2 days ago. So, until CoinMarketCap is listed on is listing Nomu, we will not be able to withdraw from the Swissborg app, which I agree is unfortunate and a bit silly, but it's just the way it is. And we can't do much about that. You're verified on CMC. Well, maybe you can help us, Satoshi. I appreciate it. I honestly, the CoinMarketCap team, they've done a great job in the previous years, but Jesus Christ, they're not easy to work with. I'm trying to see if I got any more questions. Did Kairos audit their smart contracts? So the cool thing about Kairos is that they don't have to audit their smart contracts because it is not their own smart contracts. They are using the entirety of Jido's stack, and essentially just an SDK wrapper on top of that. Jido does that because as a foundation, they don't want to expose themselves to specific token staking and being exposed to any, Nomu might be a great example for them, but like there's other tokens that might use that infrastructure and that will go to zero. And as a foundation, it's not a great look. So they essentially have partnered with a few projects like Kairos to allow them to use their tech and their smart contracts, and all of Jido's smart contracts are over audited to death. And to be honest, if Jido goes down, then a big part of Solana goes down, and that would be a black swan event that no one would want to see. Worldwide shipping, launching our first product. That's a great question, but most likely not. We're going to try and cover the big areas, US, Canada, maybe even some part of Central America, EU, UK, Asia. Most parts of Asia where we can, maybe Australia. It is not straightforward, as you can imagine. We need to build a supply chain from scratch, and we're going to be very selective, or at least very efficient in where we're going to deploy first capital to create the supply chains. In some cases, there will be for worldwide shipping if the company that we're partnering with, they have it already themselves, but we're going to have a backbone service that we also can monetize with companies coming to us, where we can offer them the shipping provision. And now obviously it's extra revenue for Nomu as well. But if you live in any of those countries that I mentioned or regions, you should be able to get it indeed from the first launch. Do you see Nomu to be chain agnostic to gather most users possible, or products outside the crypto bros? Nomu itself is, the way I see it is right now we obviously Solana positions because we're much smaller than the entire ecosystem, and you need to be very conscious about your go-to-market and partner with the next step up to be able to elevate yourself. If we do a great launch and that's how we got to one of the biggest IPs in, God, I really wish I could tell you, like, I guess most of you guys know already because we haven't been too discreet about it. I can't just say it publicly, but you know who we're launching with. That's how we got to them. And we actually signed a deal 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago. And we essentially went from being where we are right now to launching with the top 2-3 IPs on Solana. Nomu is not a Web3 company. And I think most companies should not be Web3 companies. It makes no sense. We're just using Web3 because it is the superior tech for what we want to do. Doing this crowdfunding model where you can actually get rewards and revenue back from the product sales is not feasible in Web 2. Imagine doing that with Web 2 banking accounts, and you are anywhere in the world and want to receive a $5 back from whatever pot of honey you bought. Not possible. It's a nightmare. Web 3 Solana specifically allows you to do that seamlessly. I can just need your wallet. I can even pre-fund the wallet for you if you don't have a wallet. And that's essentially what's going to happen in the future. You're going to be able to come to Nomu as a Web 2 user, buying skincare, whatever it is, use your Apple Pay, credit cards, buy the product, see your rewards accumulate in the dashboard. You get emails about it. There might be even an app that we're going to develop. So you'll be able to see this all in real life. And the moment you want to claim your rewards, you're going to have to create a wallet. But essentially, we're going to pre-create it for you, and you just need to claim the wallet. And that wallet is pre-funded. So all of a sudden, we can onboard users with pre-funded wallets. Essentially, get a wallet because money is waiting for you there. It is the strongest incentive I can think of right now to get new people to come into Web3. Because we're essentially telling them the reason you got to come is because we actually got money waiting for you here that you earn by participating in all these sales. So ultimately, Web3 Nomu will be completely Web3 agnostic. You will, through a lot of the process, not even realize that you're operating on Web3 rails, and only at the last moment of at the last possible instance where we need to make it Web3 because there's no other way, you're going to have to create a wallet. But we're going to make this as seamless as possible with account abstraction methods. We can not even need you to create 12 words. We can just use a Google account. It's safer. There's so many good, cool technologies today that we can use, and that's the way it's going to go for Nomu as well. Lenny, watching from probably not too far away here somewhere, I gave him the alpha. The alpha is that we're launching during breakpoints in exactly 1 month time. So that's the big news, and that's going to be a before and after moment for us, of course, because we're aiming to do $2 million of GMV. Fingers crossed, but that's what we're manifesting here. Have I missed any more questions? If not, I think we've been speaking for 50 minutes, and that's pretty good. Does staking have min and max lock-up periods, or just lock and withdraw at will? There will be lock-up periods, min and max. That's critical because otherwise you create the asymmetry in two assets that I told you. Where one is just if the liquidity is instant, then we don't need to have liquidity pools. If you can just withdraw immediately, then there's no trade-off. For there to be a yield and you get the yield, we need to create a trade-off for the incentive mechanism to work. If not, everybody will just get the yield, and knowing what the underlying asset will be compromised in the clarity and purpose. So we want to limit it. We want to make it exclusive, and there will be a trade-off. There will be a staking and unstaking period by design. That's why everybody does it, because otherwise the economics break down. All right. Thank you very much as well, Juju. I hope I got them all. If not, say it right now or hold your breath until the next Open Kitchen. And if that's all, if you don't have any more questions, let's end this up today at 50 minutes with a huge round of Wagyus. I Wagyu to you. I have never been more bullish in my life about what we're doing here. We're 1 month away from launching this officially. We're going to do a huge sale, huge campaign ahead of that. And it's going to mark it before and after for hopefully the entirety of e-commerce. And today we are the first few hundred people watching this live. I don't know how many people are live today. We got 230 people, almost 250 people watching this live on X, plus a couple more, I guess, on YouTube. Call it 250 people who are early to this live right now. And hopefully, I mean, that's the goal. Like change not only our positions forever, but the face of e-commerce, the way we consume products, how wasteful we are with the consumption of our products, and a lot of externalities from there, improve them through what Nomin aims to do. We have so many greater plans beyond that already. Anthony from Swissborg, who, again, my personal mentor and co-founder of Swissborg and advisor at Nomu, we're shaping together with him a lot of the future vision as well, how we can go beyond. So what we've got planned for the next year and a half is pretty mind-blowing. I really think that we can apply. We're one of the first use cases of crypto that do not depend on speculation. We're one of the first use cases of crypto that do not want to create a casino. We're one of the first use cases of crypto that are going to be generative rather than extractive. From there, you can extrapolate this to a lot of different things in a lot of different verticals. And I think there's a lot of human connections and the connection of humans that humans have with money itself that we can ameliorate through this process. And that's what we're going to aim to do. And this e-commerce launches at the very beginning of it, but hopefully when we are daring to dream much bigger already. So thank you for being part of it. And I'm going to tell you all about this hopefully very soon. But first, we're going to focus on the launch itself. And Wagyu, indeed. We got a lot of Wagyu. Sorry, I missed all of them whilst I was blabbing about and daydreaming. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for popping in today. Valuk Tilu, hello. The XBG, hello. Wagyu to you all, wise pagan from Italy. And I see you in a couple of weeks when we are essentially, the next time we speak to each other, getting ready to launch a product. And that's what we're going to speak about. And in the meantime, of course, we keep you posted about the staking and everything else that's happening. Congrats again to the winners.